Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am ATL Asharion, and if you see ATL in my name, don't you think I'd want to see the Falcons be playing the 49ers right now? Of course I do. That's why it's at halftime, and that's why I'm doing the video now. So sit back, relax, and I want to preface this video a little bit more by saying, if you want something a little bit more in-depth, please go somewhere else. Alright, for those of you who want the shallow version and don't want any spoilers, here we go. Let's start off with something very simple, okay? If you are going to make a reboot, shouldn't you learn from your predecessor's mistakes? If you're going to have a reboot, shouldn't you incorporate the character with all the things that made the original character so beloved and so liked by the fans? Shouldn't you actually cater to the fans' almost every whim in your new incorporation of a new foundation of the new series that you were trying to start in your reboot and all the things that should be incorporated with said reboot? Don't you think that the fans should have a large say in something that has already been established? Otherwise, just make a new IP, something that is similar, but at the same time different, and goes your own route. You know what I'm talking about? And for those of you who don't believe me, look at how Sonic the Hedgehog progressed from his short, chubby self with the short spines to having even more spines, having his eyes changed, and when he became all slender with the huge gloves. Remember how everybody in the Sonic fan base was freaking out? Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? And this change is even more drastic than just changing his eyes and making him skinnier. So obviously people are going to notice and people are going to speak out about that. So let's actually get into the game itself, please. Alright. So as for the game itself, Devil May Cry is just like Ninja Gaiden. It is really important that the game be difficult without having a gimmick. The standard difficulty level for the original Devil May Cry games and the original Ninja Gaiden games, well, herp derp, let's be honest here, were pretty darn challenging even for the average gamer. I mean, let's face it, Ninja Gaiden, there was points in that game where, what the... rocket launcher machine guns, what is this? And you're pulling your hair out and you're confused. But after you learn the ropes, you learn how to get past it, and you learn the new tactics, bada boom, bada bing, you're on the next stage and like nothing happened. You just progress. In Devil May Cry, you know, sometimes some stuff might jump out at you and be like, whoa, okay, what do I do there? And then the hordes of enemies get progressively harder and, you know, more advanced, and, you know, it takes more skill sets to actually vanquish your foes. Eventually, you're able to do that. But in this game, it seems like the more you progress, the more the game wants to hold you back. It's like the game never lets you off this imaginary leash that you feel, but at the same time cannot yank off or get away from or cut. And here's why. This game uses gimmicks out the wazoo to mask the easiness of the game. And some people are looking at me like, I'm sorry, what do you mean by mask the difficulty of the game, sir? Well, see, the game is never difficult. The enemies you never fight, you always fight, are never difficult. What they do is they take enemies that can only be killed by a certain weapon, or get hit in a certain spot, or get hit by another weapon that isn't the other weapon that I was talking about in the same room. So you have to focus on one enemy at a time, while you have two other really big and powerful enemies just kicking your face in, and you can't hurt them until you get rid of this one, because if you don't get rid of this one, when you try to get the other one will hurt you. It's not that the game is difficult or that the enemies are difficult. It's just like, yeah, so we want you to do this puzzle, play this video game, and eat this large piece of pizza with two hands at the same time. Well, obviously you're going to have to use the two-handed pizza, then do the puzzle, then play the video game. You see what I'm saying? It's all about order of operations, like PEMDAS and math. But this isn't math, folks. This is combat. Devil May Cry is meant to be stylish. It's meant to be, okay, this enemy's here, this enemy's here. Let me see how I can combo them together, knock them all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand there's been enemies that you can only kill in certain ways. I get that. But if there becomes a point where you have like 5 of them in the same room, and it's not that it's difficult, it's just annoying to have to kill one a very specific way. Another thing. Combo-wise, you will be pulling S's and all that crap just like this. Oh, wow. There was an S in my butt this whole time. Oh, look, another one. Oh, there goes another, and another. The combo system in this version of Devil May Cry is an absolute joke. And with that said, yeah, the game is easy and it is simple. However, the new difficulties that you can unlock, like Son of Sparta and Hell in Hell and all that type of stuff, yes, they promote a more challenge. They promote something that is actually difficulty. But the Sons of Sparta, that regular unlockable difficulty, is about as hard as a standard Devil May Cry game gets towards the end of its running. You know what I'm talking about? It's not like it's super hard. It's just more difficult than you probably expected this game ever being. Then you get to the other ones like Hell or Hell and all that type of stuff, and let's face it, folks, if you play Ninja Gaiden and you actually beat it on the hardest difficulty, well, let's be honest. Let's establish a connection here, shall we? Yeah, this game will still be piss easy to you because you've already learned the ropes. You've probably already mastered the core or how this game works. You already got the diagram of the levels and how you need to progress. And yes, the enemy locations may be put in different areas due to different spawn points, due to the different difficulty. But let's face it, all in all, you know what to expect and you know what to avoid. You know how to take everything down at this point, especially if you made it through the other unlockable difficulties and all the standard difficulties. You have a pretty good grip on the new Devil May Cry's reality. So with that said, yeah, game's pretty easy. I need to get back to the game. Later.